I'm joined on the phone now by Congresswoman Elise Stefanik, representing the 21st Congressional District of New York State up there in the North Country. Congresswoman, thanks so much for a few minutes this morning.
Good to be with you.
So let's talk about the border here. This is a big issue for you, for most of your constituents. You represent a large swath of that border. Senator Schumer, this has been a big bipartisan issue for a lot of folks in Congress. What seems to be the holdup from the U.S. side of things here?
Well, we have been working for months for a metrics-based plan to reopen the U.S.-Canadian border. This closure has had a significant impact on small businesses, on our local economy, and just on general tourism, particularly when we're in the high tourist season. I've introduced legislation as well as had numerous meetings and phone calls as co-chair of the Northern Border Caucus to move this forward. And while there's good news that Canada has decided to loosen up its restrictions, it is the wrong decision of the Biden administration not to reciprocate and loosen up those restrictions. So this is an area where we've worked with Senator Schumer's office as well as my Democrat and Republican colleagues in the House who represent northern border communities.
And Americans who are vaccinated, according to Canada, can do so on August 9th, cross over without needing the quarantine, and then it opens up for all travelers on September 7th. But when it especially comes to those who are vaccinated, the science and all the data shows us and tells us that this shouldn't be an issue.
Well, it's been a failure of the Biden administration. Their press secretary made an announcement this week that they have no plans and no announcements regarding the U.S.-Canadian border. Again, when you have leaders in both parties, both Republicans and Democrats, unified, calling for this reopening process, it is the wrong approach for the administration to ignore that. And this is one of the top issues I hear from my constituents every single day. It is absolutely unacceptable. So now the entire focus needs to be on the Biden administration to make some decisions that are common sense to safely reopen the border as soon as possible.
Give us a sense of what it has meant for the economy up there for some of these folks and some of the smaller businesses with this border being closed for over a year now.
Well, I'll give you a couple examples. We just had 4th of July parades, and one of the most well-attended 4th of July parades is in Rouse's Point, which is right on the U.S.-Canadian border in northern Clinton County. And usually it's both Canadians and Americans who celebrate that day. And this year, of course, there wasn't as much tourism because the Canadians were not able to cross the border. The other sector that's been hit are our marinas. Many Canadians keep their boats at U.S. marinas, so those marinas have been hit particularly hard when it comes to their business. The other issue is property owners. I have constituents on the U.S. side who own property across the border along the St. Lawrence River, and for the past year, they've been unable to access that property. They will finally be able to after August 9th, but the same goes for Canadians who own property on the U.S. side, so it's had a significant impact.
Absolutely, and you would think now with pressure coming, as you said, from both sides of the aisle, both the Senate and the House, you would think something could get done soon, hopefully.
And I've introduced legislation to unilaterally reopen the U.S.-Canadian border. I was the first member of Congress to call for that. Senator Schumer joined my call. And we need to continue pressuring the Biden administration to make this a priority, and we will.
Congresswoman Elise Stefanik from the 21st Congressional District in the North Country, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.